Well, Trump makes the market crash, and then Trump makes the market go right back up in this roller coaster ride of the stock markets. So, what do? Well, I'll tell you, don't listen to the yo yos on CNBC telling you to take stock and take risk off the table and do an analysis. This is the time for risk on. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video, so stick around. Hello, my YouTube friends, and happy Monday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Kahn, and this is Investing with Adam K. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope everybody's enjoying the rally. Before I talk about risk on, as always, this is not financial advice. By all means, you shouldn't be listening to me or anybody else on YouTube. I am just a huge idiot, and I do this stuff for entertainment purposes only. So please, you need to do your own research when making your financial decisions and reach out to a financial advisor. So why do I say it's time for risk on? The main reason is anytime that I'm listening to the CNBC people and they're all telling you it's time to take stock of what you own, be cautious, pay attention, don't be over leveraged, is probably when you want to be doing the opposite. Look, these are intelligent people, so I don't mean to pick on them. But the reality is, when they are all saying you should be buying, is probably when you should be selling. And when they're saying you should be selling, is probably when you should be buying. So if you are a person who doesn't mind risk, when the volatility index spikes and things sell off really hard, that's when you want to be buying into the market. And I hope you guys bought on Friday. I hope you watched my video on Friday and potentially on Saturday as well when I talked about these things. And I don't mean it the wrong way, but I added on to Intel, SMCI, SoFi, and I got to look at my account to remember the one other, because the selling pressure was so hard that those are the type of opportunities that you look for. Now, going forward, be very careful. If we continue to rally over the next few years, we could have a real melt up, as they call it. And these are kind of setups along the way. Now, I still think they're setups along the way, and you don't want to miss out on the huge parabolic rally if we go into the type of future that I'm foreseeing, because that's where you make the most money. When the markets really go crazy is when you really have a good success rate, and you have to just pay attention and be cautious. When it gets to the point that it's manic or mania, that's probably when it's gone too far. But I've even noticed, like, this is becoming an everything rally. I've noticed that, I don't know how many of you watch other markets, and I'd be curious, so let me know in the comment section. And I don't mean like just metals, because I've seen metals go up as well. But even the baseball card market is beginning to go up again. Now, I was a collector from the time I was a kid. I really enjoy it. I kind of transformed how I collect, and I just try to stick with the best of the best. So I've really simplified my collection to a couple of cards of people who I really liked as a kid, but primarily to own Michael Jordan's rookie from the first time that basketball cards really became popular. And why do I do that? Because I'm confident that Michael Jordan rookie is going to perform really well. My son was getting into Pokemon, so I did the same type of research to find out what the best of the best is, and invested in that as well, and didn't do a whole lot of research around it. There's just no reason for me to learn a ton of stuff about markets that I'm not super interested in, and just own what's the best. And it's kind of funny, because in some ways I think it's really much easier to trade things like sports cards, because to me, again, maybe Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, maybe there's a few others surrounding them that are just the best of the best, like a Babe Ruth type of card. And then don't worry about the rest of it, or trying to guess who the next so-and-so is going to be. Because I watched for too many years whoever the hot new rookie was, they didn't necessarily make it the way that people thought, and it became worth very little over the years. So if I just stick with the ones that have already established themselves, it wasn't such a hard way to invest, and then I just buy graded cards. Now, I don't think anybody out there is looking to get into the market, but that's kind of what I've done, and it's what I try to do with the stocks as well. Now, I know you guys who've been watching know that I play around with things like Conagra as well to sell the options on, and I've really enjoyed that because I'm amazed with the type of returns I can get. But for the most part, with my biggest positions, I stick with the similar of what I think of as Michael Jordan, which is Amazon, Meta, Google. Chevron is mixed in there, but I don't know that I would call that Michael Jordan. It's just that I try to diversify some. But in my set it and forget it account, that's really what I focus on, and it's a majority of my portfolio. For my trading account, I absolutely have other things. I have stuff that's kind of like the rookie cards that I'm saying to avoid because I'm hoping to get super lucky. And every now and then, like OKLO, I've been following, it's part of why I added on to Intel, the stuff that the administration has been getting involved with, and I try to stay invested in that. I think anything with these rare earth minerals is probably something to be invested in as well. I feel like I missed it with MP Materials, especially after Friday and today. I didn't look before doing the video, but I know Friday it was up a ton and then it was up a ton again today. And I don't want to chase things like that. I did take a little look at OKLO as well as the Secretary of Energy just to do a little bit of background check. And I have some calls expiring on Friday that I had sold that are obviously going to get exercised because three of them are the 85 strike, and the stock was at 165 the last I looked. So obviously those are going to get exercised. Interestingly, though, Liberty Energy, I'd have to look up the ticker symbol. He was the CEO of a while back, and it's done pretty much nothing over the past year. So I thought with the exercised options that I would take some of it and put it into that company, because why not? It's got a super low PE ratio and it pays a small dividend as well. And my concept on it is, hey, it's the same guy in the Department of Energy. Maybe his other company will do well, even though it didn't for the first year. Now, I can't really explain why I picked OKLO other than they were talking about it in the news and they weren't really talking about Liberty. But at this point, now that I got as lucky as I did, I figure I'll take a shot on his other company. The other thing is that's why, like Intel, is the government took a 10% equity stake. And as far as it's gone already, I think we have the room to run the same way that did. I think people could be really shocked as to how Intel could do. I apologize for the shade and stuff. My neighbors are still doing the work. I started the video in the yard and the noise started coming again, so I came out front. Maybe I'll shift to the sun and hope that it's a little bit better. For those of you who like to watch the metals, gold has securely gotten over 4,000. It even got above 4,100 today per ounce. Silver was trading around $51, and even platinum is beginning to go higher. What I like about the metals in the market right now is I really feel like whether the stock market goes higher, that gold, silver, and platinum are all in a bull trend. So my theory is if the market goes up, they're going to continue to go up. And if the market goes down, they're going to be the flight to safety. So I really feel pretty confident about the metals, similar to the stock market in my evaluation of what it's going to do over time. Be very careful with that trade because I think it'll reverse at some point. And just like it did in the late 70s when gold got to $800 an ounce, I think you'll have a long-term trend back down. So I wouldn't get married to it. I just see these things as good opportunity to trade. I know that there are some gold bugs out there that just want to own this stuff forever. That is not me, which is why I say you need to do your own research for what fits you and why I repeat it all the times. We just have different theories on a lot of it. Similar if you decided to get into the baseball card market or whatever else and you don't typically get into it. It is feeling to me like this is a big bubble beginning. It is not towards the end, and I am waiting until people just start going crazy and getting involved in all sorts of stuff that I don't think they should typically. I am even beginning to think the housing market's going to get strong as well, and I'm beginning to think that you're going to see mortgage rates start to go down. I did notice that the 10-year was softening a bit today, or strengthening, meaning yields going lower, depending on how you watch that market, assuming you market. Now, I'm still trading HIMS. I have that trade on. I really like selling the options in that. We're getting close to their earnings report, which will create an opportunity. Well, the volatility will go higher and should get some good premium to be able to sell the calls and puts. If you like an update on that, I'm happy to do so. Oh, and before I forget, the update on Jacob's account. I only didn't do it yesterday. He isn't feeling great. He has a cold, so I wanted him to get some rest. But he's done unbelievable, and it worked out perfectly so far. So Soundhound in particular, I don't know if you guys remember, but he was short a 17 and a half call that got exercised. He reversed and sold a 17 and a half put for last week. Well, that got exercised on Friday as well, so he collected both of those premiums. He wanted to sell an 18 and a half call in Soundhound, and at least by the time I was starting the video, it was already trading $19. So assuming that Soundhound closes above 18 and a half, he will have done an incredible scalp. He would have collected all that premium for the options he sold. I think he got 80 cents for the 18 and a half call when I sold it, and he still has 100 shares yet. He also got exercised on a 8 put that he had sold in open door. So we sold an 8.5 call, and we sold a 7.5 put for his account. And then he still has both of the call and the put that he sold for LAC. So those are his entire positions. LAC got below his strike price on the put, but as of today, it's back above it. So it would be really exciting to see all of that expire worthless, even if he gets taken on the 18 and a half call in Soundhound. So I'm super excited for how his account is done. Surprisingly, it didn't get beat up as much as my account did on Friday when the market sold off. It does bug me how much power that the administration has, and I don't like that Trump can come out and talk about an 100% tariff, cause some panic, the market sell off the way it did, and then just come out on Sunday or Monday and just say that, things won't be that bad with China for it to go all the way back up. Now, I am thrilled it's going back up. I'm very excited to see the market catch itself. Obviously, it could have had more of a sell-off, but it just shows how delicate it all is. Again, I still say risk on. I'm listening to all the people on CNBC talk about how you need to take stock of your account, take off the margin, recognize the risk that you had when the stocks fell. But unfortunately, when everybody's nervous is when you want to be the one buying and staying longer. I mean, that's just how it works. What is it that when everybody else is fearful, you need to be greedy, and when everybody else is greedy, you need to be fearful? Well, now I'm waiting for the monstrous greed to kick in so I can be fearful and get out and just kind of sit on the sidelines at that point. Anyway, if you haven't already, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. Let me know what you guys bought in the comment section, or did you sell and get nervous? Like, I'm good with all of it. I get it. It makes sense. It was pretty scary, but I'm actually smoking some beef ribs, and I want to get looking at it and make sure it's doing well and rotate it, because I've got a system pretty good on that where I just let them cook by themselves, and then I put them in a container and cover them and let them sit in their own juices for, I don't know, probably another 6 hours after they get 3 to 4 hours of just smoking, getting that nice smoky flavor. Anyway, have a great Monday. I'm sure I'll do another video tomorrow or Wednesday and say hello. I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.